Hello everyone, welcome back to the Aradhya Tech World. So today we are going to start the chapter 3 Linux series, okay? Managing local Linux users and groups. So the goal would be the to manage local Linux users and groups and administrator local password policies. Okay. So let's see what is users and groups in Linux. Okay, what is a user? Every process running program on the system runs as a particular user. Every file is owned by a particular user. Access to files and directories are restricted by user. The user associated with the running process determine the files and directories accessible to that process. Okay, so the id command is used to show info about current logged in user. Okay, you can see these are the commands which we can use. id, if you type in the terminal id and hit enter, it will display the current user information. Okay, and if you give the id space the particular username, it will display the information about that particular user. Okay, okay, if you do ls hyphen l space slash tmp or any directory name, it will list down all the information about the users. What is username, what is group name associated with that particular directory or file. Okay, so ps space hyphen a command will display the current current procedure, okay, with the current username. Okay, so I will explain all these commands in the practical session. Okay, by default systems use a simple plat file, that is slash etc passwd file to store info about local users. Okay, let's move to the next slide. What is group? Like users, groups have a name and number, gid, group id. Okay, local groups are defined in slash etc slash group file. Okay, so what is primary groups? Every user has exactly one primary group. Okay, for local users the primary group is defined by the gid number of the group listed in the fourth field of etc passwd. Okay, normally the primary group owns new file created by the user. Okay, suppose I am going to create one new file on the system. So default it will assign the primary group, okay, to that particular name. Okay, it means it that primary group owns the that created new file. Okay, supplementary groups, users may be a member of zero or more supplementary groups. Okay, apart from primary group, one user will have multiple supplementary groups. Okay, so the users that are supplementary members of a local groups are listed in the field of the groups entry in slash etc group. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Gaining super user access. So what is the root user? Most operating systems have some sort of super user, a user that has all power over the system. This user in Linux is the root user. This user has the power to override normal privileges on the file system and is used to manage and administer the system. In order to perform tasks such as installing or removing software from the system and to manage system files and directories, a user must escalate privileges to the root user. Okay, suppose I logged in as some other user, okay, instead of root user, and I'm trying to access the particular directories as file, then without any root privileges, and even you don't have any sudo privileges. Okay, so that time it will show a message like this operation can be escalated. So that is the meaning of this particular line. Okay. So managing local user accounts. Okay, let's learn about what is local user accounts. Okay, managing local users. A number of command line tools can be used to manage local user accounts. Okay, user add creates users. Okay, so this is the Linux command user add, through which you can create the users. Okay, user add username. Okay, sets reasonable defaults for all fields in etc passwd when run without options. Okay, the user add command does not set any valid password by default. Okay, it means you need to specifically create set the password that particular user. Okay, and the user cannot log in until a password is set. Okay, user mod modifies existing users. User mod basically it's a command uh, which will help to modify the existing users uh, settings. Okay, user del it commands which help to delete the users. Okay, like user del username removes the user from etc passwd but leaves the home directory intact by default. Okay, but if you use hyphen or option with the user del command, which will help to remove the user as well as to remove the home directory of that particular user. Okay, passwd sets password. Okay, passwd username can be used to either set the user's initial password or change that user's password. Okay, so basically you can set the initial password for that particular user, or this command will help to change the password. Okay, for that particular user. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Managing user password, shadow passwords and password policy. In the distance past, encrypted passwords were stored in the word readable /etc passwd file. This was thought to be reasonably secure until dictionary attacks on encrypted password became common. At that point, the encrypted passwords or password hashes were moved to the more secure etc shadow files. Okay, so whatever you like, whatever users and groups you have created, which will store into the etc passwd file. Okay, in the same way, whatever passwords or password policy you are going to set for that particular user, so that information will be stored into the /etc/shadow files. So this new file also allowed password aging and expirations features to be implemented. Okay, password aging. The following diagram relates the relevant password aging parameters which can be adjusted using chh to implement a password aging policy. So using chh command, you can set the password aging parameters. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. chh-d space 0 username will force a password update on next login. Okay, so if you set the password policy using chh-d 0 command, it will forcefully ask you to change the password in a first attempt. Okay, so chh-l username will list the username's current settings. Okay, using this command chh-l you can check the current settings from the particular user. So using chh-capital E yymmdd format, username will expire an account on specific day. Okay, if you set the particular date for that particular user for the password expiration. Okay, so it will that particular whatever date you specified for the password expiration, so on that particular date that policy will be expired. Okay, restricting access with the chh command, an account expiration can be set. Okay, once that date is reached, the user cannot log in into the system interactively. The user mod command can lock an account with hyphen capital L option. Okay. The no login shell. Sometimes a user needs an account with a password to authenticate to a system but does not need an interactive shell on the system. For example, a mail server may require an account to store mail and a password for the user to authenticate with a mail client used to retrieve mail. That user does not need to log directly into the system. A common solution to this situation is to set the user's login shell to /sbin/no login. If the user attempts to log into the system directly, then no login shell will simply close the connection. So, okay, it means it doesn't allow to log into that system. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, yeah, that is the overall presentation about the users and groups and as well as password policies. Okay, so let's start with the practical session. So id command which will help you to see the current logged in user information. Okay, so you can see here uid. So I am logged in as a root user, so it is showing information about root user. Okay, what is uid of the particular user, what is the group id for particular user. Okay, so all this information will be uh, displayed if you for current user if you use the id command. Okay, and if you type ls-l/tmp, okay, it will list down all the files or directories which are currently available in the particular directory. Okay, so if you see, if I see this all four in one file, okay, here you can see this is the user id and this is the group id for that particular file. Same way, each and every file and directories will have a user id and group id. Okay, okay, now if you do ps-a, it will show that particular uh, uh, id of the particular process. Okay, 3181. What is the terminal tty means this is the pts 0. Okay, what is the time, what is the command. Okay, so let me explain about files first, like etc. If you open this etc passwd. Okay, sorry, my bad. So I think nothing is there, so let me create one user, like user add Satish. Okay, so it is already exists something. I'll put Aradhya. Okay, and if you do cat etc passwd, okay, so you can see I just created Aradhya. Okay, so this is the how many fields are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, 9 fields you can see in this particular directory. So first column, first field is Aradhya. Okay, second, this is for the password. Okay, so I haven't set any password yet, so if I set password for Aradhya user. Okay, 1 2 3 1 2 3. So and if I do cat, so it is in something encrypted format. Okay, so now this is the that primary group id, this is the primary sorry, this is for the user id uid, and this is for gid group id. Okay, this is the default home directory for that particular user, and this is the default bin bash shell for that particular user. Okay, so if you look at the /etc group, so you can see I have created this Aradhya user, right? So whatever user you are creating in with the same name, by default it will create the group name as well. Okay, so let's suppose I have created something sat. Okay, and if you do etc group, you can see here sat. Okay, it it has created that particular whatever user I have created just now. So with the same name it has created the sat primary group. And if I cat this etc passwd file, you can see this is the username. Okay, suppose I'll log in with the Satish user. Okay, okay, now I logged in as a Satish user. Okay, and if you do su hyphen, so su hyphen means it is trying to log in as a root user. And if I give the password, so I think, let me check. Okay, command not found. Let me exit. I will create, I will log in as a site user. Okay, and if I do, no, maybe su hyphen. Okay, see, first I logged in as a site user. Okay, and after that I just tried this command su space hyphen. It means it will logged in as a root user. You can see here. Okay, I logged in as a root user. So suppose I logged in as a site user. Okay, and I'm trying to install some software. Okay, like I will install curl. Sorry, I think this is wrong. Okay, so it is showing as you need to be root to perform this command. Okay, but if I want to execute this command using a site user, then I need to add this particular user in sudo file to get the sudo access. If I do vi sudo, so it is still getting. Okay, let me exit from here. If I do vi sudo, so here you can add that particular user to get the sudo privileges. It it will act as a root user. Okay, okay, here you can add that username. Suppose I have added this. Okay, now I will save this file. Even if you, even you can use this as well, sudo vers. These are the same. Okay, if I search for site, you can see here. Okay, so now let me log in with the same user, and I want to again run this command. Okay, to install the curl software. Still showing same message. So if you want to install that particular package, you just need to type sudo first, then yum install curl. Okay, so it will ask for the password. I'll give you the password. For site. Okay, let me exit from here. Okay, I will set the password for site user. Okay, site user. Okay, now logged in as a root, and if I run this command, Site is not allowed to run sudo on demo. This incident will be reported. Why? I have added in sudo file, but why it is showing? Okay, fine. So you can set the password and you can log in as some other user. And if you add that particular user in sudo file, then that system will allows you to uh, perform the root user tasks. Okay. So managing local user accounts. Okay. So you already seen that command. Okay, user add and the username. Okay, it which will create the users on the local systems. Okay, and whatever users you are creating, that user information will be stored in the /etc passwd file. Okay, so some defaults such as the range of a valid UID numbers and default password aging rules are read from the etc login text file. Okay, values. So if you see this etc login login.devs. Okay, so here you can see the information about the UID, GID, system UID, password, maximum days, minimum length, minimum password warning age. Okay, so in this file, values in these files are only used when creating new users. A change to this file will not have an effect on any existing users. Okay, so these are the maximum values. Okay, so if you see this minimum value GID, minimum you can create. So minimum maximum values for automatic GID selection in group add. So minimum you can create 1000 groups, maximum you can create 60,000. Minimum UID is 1000, so you can create 1000 users, and maximum is 60,000. Okay, then again, if you want to delete some user del, you can use this command user del. And if I want to just give the username, if you hit, okay, user sat is currently used by process ID. Okay, let me kill this ID first. 1434. Okay, now I will delete this. User sat is currently used by process. Okay, let me remove another user del sat one. Okay, it has been removed. You can see this one as well. I will show you the etc password file. Okay, the user has been removed. Okay, and if you want to user del aradhya, okay, it has been removed. Again I will do the cat. You can see aradhya has been removed now. Okay, in the same way you can create a groups as well using group add command. Okay, if you do group add, I will give this name group add. Okay, sorry, group add. Okay, it has been created, that particular group. Or let me create with some other. Okay, if you see this etc group file, you can see it has been created the group. Okay, so okay, using group add commands you can create the users with the default group ID, but even you can create the user with the some if you want to create if you want to use specific user id or group id assigned to that particular user, then you can simply use the command group add hyphen g and that id name, group id name, and the group name. Okay, you can see in etc group. Okay, when I created this pill user, by default it assigned 1004 group id, but when I specifically specifying this particular group id, it will create the user group with the that specified gid. Okay, even using group mod command, you can modify the settings for that particular user. Okay, so let's suppose I have created user Aradhya. Okay, so the directory is already exist now. Then we need to remove the directory first. Okay, if I go here, you can see the users directories. If I remove this, okay, something. So I have removed. Okay, now let me create user Aradhya. So Aradhya is already in this. Okay, it has been deleted. Now it has been creating mailbox file exists. Okay, multiple things are already created. Okay, okay, let me create some user here. Mm, so let me create something test. Okay, I have created. Okay, it has some user id and group id. Okay, test as 5002. Okay, so I want to change this or I want to modify this. So you can use this user mod command, not user mod, group mod. So if I want to change the group id na, then I will use group mod command. Okay, group mod hyphen g, instead of 5002 I will give something 6000. Okay, and that particular username. What will happen if I do this cat etc group? It will change 5002 to 6000. Okay, which will, this command will help to modify the existing user group id. Even using group del command, you can delete the existing user. Okay, can you tell me the primary group of user test? Okay, it means maybe you can delete the user. Okay, I have deleted. Now I will, so test is does not exist. Okay, it will remove the group as well. Okay, okay, let me create one more user here. User add new one. Okay, so let me remove the group del, primary group of user new one. Okay, primary group we cannot remove. Okay, fine. So using these commands you can create the users, modify the existing user, create the groups, modify the existing groups as well. You can delete the users, you can delete the groups as well. Let's see few examples of password aging. If you type just chh, you can see these are the, or you can just type chh hyphen hyphen help. You can see the multiple options which are available for this particular commands. Okay,